we have Milo's Quest, developed by Light Up and published by Retalica Games. Thank you, Retalica. And it's also available just about any place modern games are sold, except for PC, I believe. And in this game, you play the ever good boy Milo. On his way, just walking around the park, enjoying his life, when suddenly he comes across this green bone right here. Upon picking it up, he sets free the evil King Old Skull from his accursed prison, which was the green bone. And it's up to Milo to take this green skull and his ghost army down, and he's gonna succeed because he's the goodest, bestest boy. Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Look at that face. He's so determined and he's so adorable. Anyways, this game kind of plays like its own kind of mix of part adventure game, part puzzle game. Basically in the form of Super Boxland Remake, which makes sense because this is the same developers of Super Boxland Remake as well. And it works quite well together in a weird way. It doesn't really break the flow of the game at all. The only thing I could really say issue-wise is it does feel a little bit repetitive after a while when you're playing through this. Even with the with this added benefit, you can use it to find like other hidden items and get access to other hidden items like more bones, hidden keys, health and stamina upgrades. And some might say that might work for them, some not so much. It's really if you really like this kind of repetition in your games. I don't really like it, but you know, maybe you're different. One other issue I kind of have is the combat. And with the combat, as you can see right here, in order to defeat enemies, you have to tackle them using the X button because you have literally you have a football helmet on. And you have to defeat them by just charging into them, which can be problematic because a lot of these enemies are, if you get in contact with their sprite, you'll get damage. So if you catch them in the wall, like I just sort of did there, or even just so much as slightly miss, the game can kind of punish you for it. Now that might be your cup of tea, but I think it's a little bit ridiculous, and I would have preferred to have like a sort of like, almost kind of like how a lot of older games would have that like blinking to recover for enemies. I also want to redirect you back to the main menu for just a moment, because there's a feature in this game that I do absolutely love that I don't think many developers take full advantage of, and that is being able to choose your game mode besides just your difficulty level, as you can see right here. You can actually, if you really wanted to, choose it so that this game is strictly an adventure mode, as you can see, where you're just kind of fighting ghosts, doing your thing that way, or you can have it more kind of like Super Boxland Remake, where you can just do nothing but the puzzles. And I think that's a really good feature that a lot of developers don't really take advantage of, because, you know, you got a lot of developers that try to make games that are to appeal to the broadest audience possible, and they often do weird things to get that done, or take away certain features just so they can get a game that appeals to them the most. But what Light Up did was make it so you can have one or the other, or both if need be. Now, for the sake of this review, I did both, and I didn't really try them separately, but I can imagine that this game kind of, you know, just, it's basically the same thing, just minus the spots where you can, you know, do the puzzles and everything. But overall, that's an amazing feature. So kudos to Light Up for putting that in. Now, lastly, all that's really left to talk about, I think, in my right now, is the achievements, which, because it's a Retalica published game, you can easily get all the achievements in a little under, anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours, no more than 2, and you don't even need a guide. You just play the game and enjoy it. Maybe you'll like it, and you can just keep going with it if you still dig it. So, I mean, pros and cons of this game. The option to remove and add puzzles in adventure games, I gotta appreciate that. Like, that's one of the things that kind of blows me away about that, actually. I really, really appreciate that game, about this game. And, of course, I'm always a sucker for pixel-related games. The music's not really anything worth noting for me, but I always like pixel games like this. I have an appreciation for pixel art. And of course, you know, Milo's a good boy, so he needs to be on the pros list because, you know, all dogs are good boys. The only cons I can really think of is this game can feel a bit repetitive with its gameplay formula, which, I mean, considering what they're working with, I can understand that. Some people might dig this because of its repetitiveness more, or can handle the repetitiveness more. I don't mean it like a bad thing, but I'm just not the one for this kind of repetitive gameplay myself. Overall, I think this is a game that really shows that Light Up as developers are improving. And I'm not saying that because there's a dog staring at me gonna give me sad doggy eyes if I don't give this game a good rating. But in the off chance that there is, I want to give this game an 8 out of 10. It's a good game, and I know it's a little bit less than what I gave for Super Box Land Remake, but they're trying to do more in this game, and it just, I don't know, it feels a little weirder to me, maybe a little less polished because they're trying to do more, but I can tell that they're doing better overall, and I would love to see more from Light Up in the near future when they hopefully release another title with Right Like Games.